If you're a mid-level to C-suite leader who wants to own your growth and figure out your next small, brave move to achieve your leadership goals, you are in the right place. Welcome to the Small Brave Moves podcast, a weekly deep dive on how to be braver in leadership and in life for exceptional results. I'm your host, Nicole Bianchi, best-selling author, certified master executive coach, NSA certified speaking professional, chief bravery officer, and tough talk expert. If you're ready to become a better, braver, and more authentic leader, let's dive in. Hey, brave leaders. Welcome back to Small Brave Moves. I want to start today with a confession. People hear me talk about brave leadership and assume I've got it all figured out, that I wake up confident, clear, ready. And I don't. I still feel fear, especially before hard conversations, before big decisions, before saying something I'm just not sure people will agree with. And I feel it in my body. I feel the knot, the hesitation, the voice that says, "Are you sure you really want to do this?" It hasn't gone away, and it's not going to. Here's what I've learned, and this is a part most people just get wrong, that feeling isn't a problem. It's a signal. And it means something is on the line. And here's the truth that most people just don't say out loud. Bravery doesn't exist without fear. It requires it. No fear, then no bravery. That's just doing something easy. So if you've been waiting to feel confident before you act, maybe waiting to feel ready before you speak, or waiting for the fear to go away before you step up, you're going to be waiting a long time, maybe forever. And while you're waiting, well, guess what? Opportunities are moving. Decisions are getting made without you, and problems are just getting worse. So let's talk about that. I want you to think about it this way. You've been taught that this is wrong. We've been taught that fear is something we have to eliminate. The whole be fearless, crush fear, get past it. Notice how my voice changed as I was doing this because it makes no sense at all. It sounds good, but it's completely wrong. Because here's what that message actually does. It trains you to wait until you feel better, to wait until you feel ready, or wait until it's less uncomfortable. And that's exactly why so many leaders stay stuck, because the fear doesn't go away, especially not at higher levels. It actually gets louder. I work with senior executives, people running massive organizations, and you know what they feel? Fear. Fear of saying the wrong thing, fear of making the wrong call, fear of being exposed, fear of maybe not having the answer. And here's the part that they won't say publicly. They think that means something is wrong with them, and it doesn't. It means that they're in the arena. The real question isn't, how do I get rid of the fear? The real question is, am I letting fear make decisions for me? Am I letting fear make decisions for me? Because if you are, then you're not leading, you're reacting. Now, let's talk about what your brain is doing. Let's make it real. Your brain is just not built for bravery. It's built for safety. That's how we're wired. So when you're about to do something uncomfortable, maybe having the hard conversation, challenging somebody, taking a risk, your brain treats it like danger. Your heart rate spikes, your body tightens up, and your thoughts get really loud. And then here's what your brain says. Let's not do this. That voice sounds logical. It sounds protective, and it's not. It's outdated wiring. It's outdated neural pathways. Because here's what's actually happening. You're not in danger. You're just uncomfortable. Because your brain doesn't care about the difference. So it convinces you to delay, and delaying feels smart until you realize what it's costing you. Every time you avoid that conversation, you reinforce the pattern. Every time you stay quiet, you train your brain that silence, well, it's safer. And every time you wait, you make the next brave move harder, not easier. So, no, confidence does not come before action. That's the lie. Confidence is built after you act. Let's talk about what this actually looks like, because this is where people underestimate the work. Bravery, it doesn't show up in the big moments first. It shows up in the ones you keep dismissing, like speaking up when it would be easier to stay quiet, saying the thing that everyone is thinking but no one's saying, giving honest feedback instead of softening it, setting a boundary instead of overcommitting again, making the call you've been avoiding for 2 weeks. Every one of those moments is a decision point. It's a decision where you're choosing comfort or courage. And here's the part that most people don't want to hear. If you keep choosing comfort in the small moments, you're not magically choosing courage in the big ones. That's just not how it works. You're not going to rise to the occasion. You're going to default to whatever your pattern is. So if your pattern is avoidance, that's what shows up when it matters the most. Now, let's talk about what avoidance is costing you. Let's get real about that cost, because it isn't just about your growth. It's about your leadership impact. When you actually avoid fear, you avoid conversations that need to happen. You're delaying decisions that need to be made. You're softening feedback that needs to be very clear. And your team will feel that, even if they can't name it. So McKinsey found that 85% of executives say fear limits innovation, not talent. Think about that. Fear limits innovation, not talent. Not ideas. It's fear. And here's what that looks like in real life. Conflict sits and it just gets worse. Feedback disappears, your performance drops. People play it safe and then innovation is dying. And slowly, your culture is adjusting. Not to your standards though, but to your avoidance. And it becomes the way that things are done now. And that's the part that most leaders miss. You're not building culture through what you say. You're building it through what you don't address. Fear is not your problem. It's your response. And when we reframe that, we think about it as fear is not the enemy. Avoidance is, okay? Fear is data, and it's pointing directly at the thing that matters. So instead of asking, how do I get rid of this? I want you to ask, what is this pointing me towards? Because leaders who grow the fastest, they don't avoid fear, they follow it. They're treating it like a compass, not like a stop sign. And that changes everything. Because now fear, it doesn't block you, it directs you. Here's what I want you to do right now. Where are you feeling resistance? Not someday, now. What are you avoiding? I want you to name it. Don't soften it. And I want you to not justify it. Just name it. And then I want you to ask this. What's the smallest version of this I can do this week? It's about taking one small action, not perfection, not big, just a movement forward. Because bravery is not a personality trait. It's a pattern. And it's a pattern you're building, and you're building that muscle. You're building it the same way you'd build anything else, through repetition. So stop waiting to feel ready, because you just won't. Move anyway. This is the conversation I have to have with myself every single time I'm hesitating or delaying something. And if this is hitting you, if you're seeing this inside yourself or your team, well, this is the work. This is what I do with leaders and organizations every single day. Not theory, but practice. Building the actual skill of bravery so that your people stop avoiding those conversations, decisions, and risks that are holding everything back. If that's the gap in your organization, let's fix it. Details are in the show notes, and if this hit you, send it to someone who needs to hear it today, especially the one who keeps saying, I just need a little more time. They don't. Until next time, thank you so much. Keep making a small, brave move every single day. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Small Brave Moves podcast. If you're wanting to take this work even deeper, I'm here to help. From engaging in inspirational keynote speeches to transformational coaching and workshops for leaders and teams, page-turning books, online courses, and enlightening leadership development retreats. There are so many ways that we can work together to take your leadership to the next level. For more information, check out the show notes, and let's do this together, one small brave move at a time. See you next week.